And I have with me Ambrose Igboke as well as Sijibomi Bennett. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's begin with this day. This day is our first paper we'll be reviewing this morning. Supreme Court backs by Courtney AMCON to pay 132 billion naira. This tussle has been on for quite some time. The Supreme Court is putting this to an end now. All right, now let's move to the nation. Buhari to tell Goje Ndume Lawan is APC's candidate. Senate leader meets PDP senators. Mode of voting in June, not sure. Okay, that's what the nation is reporting this morning. From there, let's go to the blueprint now. We're heading to Zamfara. Injustice breeding banditry. Emir of Arugungu is saying that and tasks judiciary on crisis. And terrorism, complex warfare, Burate is saying that, the chief of army staff. Okay, from there, from the blueprint, let's go to the Nigerian Tribune now. More trouble for Noge. EFCC drafts charges for fresh trial, and how NJC probe panel voted. You can see all the details in the Nigerian Tribune. From there, let's go to The Punch. The Punch this morning is saying health sector crisis. Patients sleep on bare floors, battle mosquitoes in teaching hospitals. And the CMD of ATBU, that's the teaching hospital in Bauchi, is quoted here saying, if you go to our trauma center, it is now overstretched because of the influx of patients. I assure you that if nothing is done at the primary and secondary healthcare institutions, we cannot meet the demands in the state. All right, that's a quotation credited to the Chief Medical Director of ATBU-TH. All right, moving now to Daily Trust, which is the last paper this morning. African Development Bank President, additional, how Buhari is sourcing for $50 billion to revive Lake Chad. You can get all that detail in there. Okay, gentlemen, I'd like us to talk about this issue of patients sleeping on bare floor, and I think that's a story on The Punch this morning, the health sector crisis. Ambrose, I'd like to start with you on this. The point there is, in teaching hospitals where it is supposed to be a tertiary institution or health institution where people should find all sorts of health relief, people sleeping on the bare floor and battling mosquitoes, what comes to you? How troubling is this to you?
Well, it highlights the shame of a nation because right from time, I remember those days of successive military coups. The military boys used to say, oh, our hospitals are now mere consulting clinics, including the president when he did the overthrow in 1983. He made that statement too. And so it has been lip service down the line, right from the 60s to the 70s. Well, 60s, we still have some semblance of sanity. I remember those days where we're told that people from Saudi Arabia and people from even the Europe used to come to Ibadan, UCH, for medical treatment. And then how did we reverse ourselves? It just goes to show that every pattern of our lives have been retrogressive, has been redundant. We didn't even try to maintain the level we were. We rather went back to pre-independent times. And that's what has been happening. So it is a culture. It's not only in the health sector. When you check all the phases of our life, it's a culture of retrogression that we have embarked in.
All right, Sijibomi, the point there is the emphases have been taken away from primary health care, even though the federal government now is trying to make moves in that regard. Someone has malaria. He wants to go to a teaching hospital to get checked, when he's supposed to go to maybe even the secondary, like a general hospital, or even primary health care for that matter. Even the understanding from the people sometimes is missing when it comes to where to visit for what kind of ailment.
Yes, I think the people also has a responsibility in this decadence, but we cannot overlook the decadence in our polity, because that has been reflective in every sector, not just the health sector, it's in every sector. And I think it's because the same facilities that we've been using, excuse me, when we were 60 million people, are still the same facilities we've been using when we were 200 million people. So there's no way those things will not be overstretched. What has the federal government and what has the state government done in terms of investment? Then the primary health care. How can you take care of the psyche of the people, the opinion of the people, you know, the mindset of the people, instead of going to the station hospitals? How do these primary health care centers look like? When people get there, do they have a semblance of, this is where I think I should be coming to,
okay,
you know, in terms of facilities and all that.
All right.
So when we take care of that, then I think the people will also adjust.
The federal government has said it is meant to revive about 10,000 primary health care centers across the country. So we expect and hope to see how that will add to the mix to make things different. Ambrose Igboke, we have to leave it here.
I would say before we end this thing, let's put a lot of warning that from now on, people seeking political offices should be forced in a way in our laws to attend only public health institutions.
All right.
In that way, I think we can cover it.
The Minister of Health, when they came in 2015, muted that, but I wonder how it was implemented.
It should be put in our rules.
Thank you, Sijibomi, for coming on the program. Ambrose, thank you very much. Thank you.